If you do, just put in the comments, this is for the historical house tour. We very much appreciate it. And there we go. All right, we're monitoring the live stream as we do this. So here is the interactive site. Click on the tour page. Make sure we're all caught up here. Just want to make sure. There we go. Okay, well, so here is the interactive page. When you open up the page, it gives you a lot of instructions on how to navigate through the page itself. If you have a touch screen, you can spread and zoom with your fingers. You can use your mouse. It is fully interactive. Before we go ahead and get started, let's go ahead and pop on the welcome video from Bob Lucido, who has been our sponsor for the Holiday House Tour for the last 5 years. Take it away, Bob.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everyone. Bob Lucido here. And on behalf of my wife, Tracy, and the entire Bob Lucido team, we are proud to be the sponsor of the Howard County Historical Society's virtual holiday house and history tour. We have sponsored this Howard County annual tradition for the past 5 years. Normally, we'd be loading onto buses right now and getting ready to prepare to go tour some luxury homes throughout the county. This year's tour is 100% virtual and focuses on a year-long celebration of the Howard County woman by the Historical Society. Each one of the homes that you'll be visiting today is associated with a significant woman from our county's history. This tour is usually a fundraiser, so please consider making a donation to this very worthwhile cause, the Historical Society, so that they can continue to preserve, collect, and honor our county's history. As we have done in the past, the Bob Lucido team is proud to say that we're going to be donating $1,000 for every family who buys or sells with us through the Historical Society. So if you're participating and you're involved in the program or part of this amazing group, and you buy or sell with us at any time in 2021, we'll gladly make a donation in your name to the Historical Society. The Holiday House Tour is a wonderful Howard County tradition and has been for the past 46 years. On behalf of the Bob Lucido team and the Historical Society, we want to wish you all a very happy, healthy holiday season. Now sit back, get ready to have fun, and enjoy the tour. Thank you very much.
All right, that's our main man, Bob Lucido. Thank you so much, Bob. So now we're going to go ahead and start the interactive version of the tour. So what we want to go ahead and do, we're going to start off with Christ Church. If you click on Christ Church, it's going to bring up an interactive platform. And you can see through Christ Church, you have a few places that you can go directly and visit. But if you don't want to go directly to some of these areas and you want to kind of take a look at the area around Christ Church, this is 360-degree photography that was done by Howard Hartman of Capital Sky Eye Specialty Photography. Each one of these circles represents something that you can zoom in on. So you can zoom in on the sign for Christ Episcopal Church. Let's say you want to go ahead and check out what makes this church famous or gives it its historical nickname, Old Brick, is because of the nature of this brick here, which will be discussed in one of the accompanying videos. Okay. So let's say you've taken a look through, you've looked at the exterior of the location itself. Okay. You want to head on over to the front porch where you can go ahead and enter Christ Church. And this is the interior of one of Howard County's oldest churches. Now, what we have is a few audio cues in here that you can listen to. Now, this is the interactive part of the tour, which pretty much you can listen to on your own. We're not going to go through all the audio cues, but if you are interested in what the history of this window is, click on the audio cue.
The north window is in memory of Mary McGill, daughter of Reverend James McGill, born the 25th of March, 1749 at Athol, Anne Arundel County. Died August 18th, 1824 at Hagerstown, Maryland. It is also marked, "She reared my father and his 5 brothers," and was erected by Molly Reagan McGill Rosenberg in 1909 to her great-great-aunt. The window shows Christ with children.
Okay, so we've got audio cues like this throughout the interactive platform in some of the different features. And there are some wonderful features here at Christ Church. For example, this wall tablet here.
This is a wooden memorial tablet painted black and marbleized. The tablet has an angel with the horn at the top, and this appears to be a transfer print. Below the angel in gold letters is painted, "In memory of the Honorable B.L.E. Judge Henry Ridgely, the first promoter of this church, who departed his life June 22nd, 1811, in the 48th year of his age. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from henceforth. Yes, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them."
Okay, so there are a lot of these different cues. You can go to the lower level where we have cues on the brass railing and the altar. You can go to the upper level where we have audio cues on the window and the pews. And then here is a little video that Paulette and I produced on the history of Christ Church. Now, one of the interesting things that we threw in here, and one of the reasons we chose Christ Church, is because we know that Laura Laurenson Byrne, who happens to be one of the women that we've profiled in this year's Year of the Howard County Woman, gave an impassioned speech here about 100 years ago supporting women's suffrage. So we decided to pick this based on that criteria. If you would like to know more about Laura Laurenson Byrne, you can click on this link right here.
100 years ago, in 1920, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States was signed into law and officially granted 20 million American women the right to vote. This mass expansion in voting rights was the result of generations of intense activism known as the women's suffrage movement that has had a lasting legacy on the continued fight for equality in America.
So that is a link to the ballot and beyond. And if you continue to listen to that link, you'll hear all about Laura Laurenson Byrne. But what we would like to show to you right now is the video that we produced for Christ Church. Here you go.
Hi, welcome to the Christ Church, also known as Old Brick. It was built in 1711, and it was a log structure originally. It was on land owned by Charles Carroll, the immigrant, and it was later sold to Caleb Dorsey. The current facade that you see now was built in 1809, and the perfect structure of the bricks earned it the name of Old Brick.
Christ Church, Guilford, historically known as the Old Brick Church, is a historic Episcopal church located about 1 mile from Guilford, now part of Columbia in Howard County, Maryland. As Paulette mentioned, the small Georgian church was completed in 1809. It was constructed of handmade brick laid in English garden wall brick bond with unmarked joints. The structure replaced a circa 1711 frame building and is the second church building to be built on the 2-acre plot deeded to the parish in 1738 by Caleb Dorsey. It is the oldest church building still in use in Howard County. The Reverend James McGill was chosen in 1730 as Christ Church's first full-time rector. McGill was a native of Perth, Scotland, who served in the church for 50 years. The Reverend Thomas John Claggett was rector from 1781 to 1782. He became the first bishop of Maryland in 1792 and was the first Episcopal bishop consecrated in America. Christ Church does have a connection to one of our featured historical women. Laura Byrne, noted suffragist from Ellicott City, gave an impassioned speech in favor of women's suffrage over 100 years ago. We think it looked something like this. Hi, so we're here outside of Christ Church in present-day Columbia. Christ Church was often a place where you might have some social gatherings, maybe some protests. We definitely know that Laura Byrne was here about 100 years ago giving a protest here at Christ Church with a gathering of women who were supporting the suffragette movement. I think I hear something going on in there right now. Let's get in and take a look, shall we?
Deprive their just powers from the consent of the governed. The colonists won, and the nation, which was established as a result of their victory, has held unfailingly that these two fundamental principles of democratic government are not only the spiritual source of our national existence, but have been our chief historic pride and at times the sheet anchor of our liberties. 80 years after the Revolution, Abraham Lincoln welded these two maxims into one. Ours is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. 50 years more passed, and the President of the United States, Woodrow Wilson, in a mighty crisis of the nation, proclaimed to the world, "We are fighting for the things which we have always carried nearest to our hearts, for democracy, for the right of those who submit to authority to have a voice in their own government." With such a history behind it, how can our nation escape the logic it has never failed to follow when its last unenfranchised class calls for the vote? Behold our Uncle Sam floating the banner with one hand, taxation without representation is tyranny, and with the other, seizing the billions of dollars paid in taxes by women to whom he refuses representation.
All right, that sure was fun.
Oh, I loved it. It was so much fun.
We love going back in time. Anyway, thank you so much. We've been to Christ Church. Now we're on our way to our next location.
And now is a good time to get your next wine tasting.
Good call, Paulette. All right, we'll see you at the next spot.
All right. So like Paulette said in the video, now is probably a good time for your first wine tasting. So what we'd like to do is invite you, if you picked up the wine from
Pure Wine.
Or if you have, maybe you're enjoying a beverage, now is the time to pour yourself a glass. So Paulette,
Right.
I know we're on our second glass.
Right. And I will go and pop the pot pies into the oven.
Now is a good time, if you did get the pot pie special, to go ahead and put the pot pies in the oven. Paulette, you want
Right.
to tell me instructions?
Yes, it's right here. When you picked up your bag, you should have had a little label like this on the front, and you heat it up covered for 15 minutes, and then you uncover it for another 5, and then you will have a nice toasty hot pot pie to munch on. There's also soup in the package and a salad. So I'll go put the pot pie.
All right. Meanwhile, let's check in with PJ from Pure Wine, who's going to tell you all about this lovely wine that we are sampling, Santa Giulia.
Happy holidays, everyone. This is PJ from Pure Wine Cafe and Brandon from Winebow. Hey, guys. And we hope you are enjoying the historic house tour from Howard County Historical Society. We're so glad that you joined us as well to try a little bit of bubbly. Cheers. Cheers. We're drinking the... delicious. We're drinking the Santa Julia Brut Rosé right now. It's from Mendoza, Argentina.
So good. High elevation Pinot Noir, 100%. Done It's not traditional method. It's done in the Charmat method, but all organic fruit, so it's extra good for you. Just a beautiful wine. I mean, great for sipping. Great way to start, any evening or any meal.
Absolutely.
When I was
Great for
gonna
the
say
holidays to
today.
start a meal, but also really, really great with chocolate. This is my new favorite pairing, actually. We did at Pure Wine for one of our holiday gift boxes. These little Noel truffles. So any truffles, you could swing down to Sweet Cascades. Check out Sue's lineup of truffles. Any of those chocolate truffles are going to go really, really well with this. Perfect. As Brandon said, it's really great before the meal, but also just really, really delightful just with like a little cheese and chocolate or just a little nosh of any sweets, really. It has a little bit of sweetness to it that comes out a little bit when you pair it with. It's not sweet, but a little bit of round sweetness.
It's fruit.
Fruits, yeah.
It's like that berry, like red berry fruit. So think like strawberries and almost like strawberries and cream kind of thing
Definitely
going on
get
here.
a lot of cream in there. Really nice round mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Beautiful with all kinds of holiday fare.
Yeah. I love it. And it's easy and very well made. And the winery is fantastic too. They do a lot for the people of Mendoza. So they give back a lot. So
They do. And that's especially important in this season
This
of
time of
giving.
year. Yeah.
They really support their workers, and they're just really advocates for the community and for their farms workers. And as Brandon said, 100% organic fruit.
Yep.
So they're taking care of the environment, their workers, and really just a really solid family operation.
Fully
that gives back.
sustainable. Yeah. I built like 3 schools or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And this whole brand, the whole Santa Julio.
Oh, no. Okay, well, fortunately, we got cut off there.
Welcome back.
We'll come back to that one later. Okay. A few little minor technical difficulties, but we're back. Hopefully, you're enjoying a beverage, or if not, that's okay. Let's get back to the history. Okay. All right. So next up on our tour on the page, pardon me. Okay. So one of the things about this, as you navigate through the site, don't click back, because if you click back, you're going to actually jump out of this. So if you want to go to other places on the site, click to other places. Okay. And next up, we are going to treat everyone to a lovely tour of our favorite place on the planet, Ellicott City, Maryland. And Ellicott City has a lot of significant history, obviously, and it has quite a bit of significant history when it comes to women's history. So we pulled out a few stories that we want to share with you. But, before we get to those stories, take a look at how awesome this is. One of the things, whether you're a historian, whether you are an environmentalist, whether you are someone who works in Baltimore County or Howard County, whether you work with the streams, with the Patapsco, this is always a beautiful site. And what we have done with Capital Sky Eye Specialty Photography is we have done 360 degrees both on the Baltimore County side and on the Howard County side. You can use this to go ahead and interactively tour Ellicott City's Main Street. Like so. You can always click here to jump back to the aerial view. And go right on up Ellicott City Main Street at your leisure.
I was in Ellicott City this morning, and I'm so happy to see all the shoppers down there supporting all of the shops and the businesses in Ellicott City. It was really busy, and it really made my heart glad.
It was very busy yesterday when I was down there as well. So you see, you can go through Ellicott City Main Street. And if you head on up, you'll see we've got some locations are marked. We'll get back to those in a second. But where we actually want to go to start off our story is we actually want to go, all of the video stories are here under video stories, but if you want to jump directly to the courthouse, the Crafts Meat Market, or Disney's Tavern as locations, you certainly can. we want to go ahead and start off with Alda Tyson Hopkins Clark. Alda, and it looks like there's a typo. We'll have to get Howard to fix that. Alda Tyson Hopkins Clark is the founder of the Historical Society. She has the significance of being related to three significant Baltimore area, Howard County area families, the Tyson family, the Hopkins, and the Clark family. She was the first woman profiled this year, seemed suitable since she is the founder of the Historical Society. So we're going to start off our stories and tour of Ellicott City Main Street with Alda. In 2020, we celebrated the Year of the Howard County Woman to honor the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, giving women the right to vote. It has been a worthwhile, fascinating, and educational journey to recognize the Howard County women, past and present, who have contributed to our county with their hard work, ingenuity, and spirit.
We owe a debt of gratitude to these women who have paved the road for us, and this is our way of honoring their accomplishments.
The Howard County Historical Society and the Museum of Howard County History would not exist if not for Alda Tyson Hopkins Clark. Mrs. Clark purchased the First Presbyterian Church in the Historic District in 1958 to serve as the home of the Howard County Historical Society and as a memorial for her distinguished husband, Judge James Clark Sr. Together they had 4 sons, James Jr., John, Joseph, and Samuel. They lived and raised their children at Key Waden. James Clark Jr. was elected to the House of Delegates in 1958 and the Senate in 1962. Alda Tyson Hopkins was born at Whitehall in 1891, one of 5 children born to Samuel and Martha Tyson Smith Hopkins. Among her many talents, she was one of the first women in Howard County to drive a car in the early 1900s. From a young age, her love of horses led her to a career in thoroughbred horse breeding and riding. She was a hands-on trainer and groomed some of the finest racehorses in Maryland. Her passion for horses led her to write the book Hold Hard, that documents her life in horse breeding, horse shows, and riding. Alda represents the character and spirit that many women from our past have exhibited.
Okay. Not exactly a soft cut. I guess that's it. Okay, well, there we go. All right. So that is Alda. Our next featured woman, actually, we're going to jump down here to the get that off there. Okay. Our next featured woman, we're going to go to the Howard County Courthouse, and we're going to learn about the story of Rebecca Garrett. Now, not all of these stories that we have profiled are stories that I guess we could say come from a happy place. Certainly the story of Rebecca Garrett does not. She is significant, being the first woman of color to file for a writ of habeas corpus here in Howard County. So here is the story of Rebecca Garrett.
We're here outside of the Circuit Courthouse in Ellicott City, Maryland, in Howard County. Built in 1843, this was one of the sites that was nominated by the Howard County Historical Society for the National Park Service Underground Railroad Network to Freedom Trail.
We found many court cases in our archives that allowed us to justify using this site on the Underground Railroad.
One of the cases that was heard, one of the more notorious cases that was heard, was one of our profiles that we were focusing on this year in the Year of the Howard County Woman, Rebecca Garrett. Geographically located in the upper South and between the major cities of Washington, D.C. and Baltimore, Howard County was a pathway on the Underground Railroad for thousands of enslaved from the South seeking freedom in the North. Here in Howard County, for enslaved and free alike, the lines between slavery and freedom were blurred, Such is the case of Rebecca Garrett, one of our women profiled this year.
Rebecca Garrett was the first woman of color to file a writ of habeas corpus in Howard County to regain her freedom from slavery. Rebecca, formerly enslaved by Thomas Anderson of Howard County, was given her freedom upon his death. However, his son, Isaac Anderson, saw that Rebecca and her 6 children would be worth thousands of dollars and wanted them returned. Joseph S. Donovan, a slave dealer, and Isaac Anderson executed a midnight raid in Baltimore and forcibly kidnapped Rebecca and her 6 children and returned them to Howard County. Sympathetic Quakers hired 2 lawyers, Mr. Benjamin C. Prestman and C.H. Pitts, to file a writ of habeas corpus to gain freedom for Rebecca and her children. After lumbering through court in the Howard District and Baltimore City, Rebecca won the case after 3 years of litigation and was given freedom for herself and her children. Upon her release, Rebecca and her children returned to their home in Baltimore.
Okay.
So it was a story with a happy ending.
Well, sort of. There's some deeper stories to that story. If you would like to learn more about Rebecca Garrett, come visit us at the Howard County Historical Society. There certainly are some more stories associated there with Rebecca Garrett. So the next location that we would like to actually focus on is right here. We know this as Forest Street, and what is probably most significant for those of us who frequent Ellicott City is right at the corner of Forest Street is Tersegel's, probably one of the finest restaurants in Ellicott City of all the wonderful restaurants that we have. We had one of the women that we focused on, Bessie Lee Gambrill, who is a fascinating figure. Also, I see another typo that we're going to have to get fixed. The fascinating figure, Bessie Lee Gambrill. And here we go. Bessie Lee Gambrill at Forest Street.
Bessie Lee Gambrill was the most remarkable woman and an influential educator in Howard County. As a matter of fact, I think she had a connection with the flood.
That's right. One of the many floods, the 30 floods that have plagued Ellicott City's history. In 1899, Bessie Lee Gambrill lived right here off of Forest Street, and her building was washed away in the flood of 1899. Let's go ahead and hear a little bit about Bessie Lee Gambrill.
In the early 1800s, Forest Street circled around and joined with Hamilton Street. Bessie and her family lived on Forest Street with many other families. The flood of 1899 washed away all of the buildings that stood where the public parking lot is now located. Graduating summa cum laude at 19 from Western Maryland's College in 1902, Bessie returned home and lived in Ellicott City with her parents while teaching in a one-room schoolhouse in Relay. In 1911, she made her mark as the first female professor teaching philosophy at Alfred University and psychology at New Jersey State Teachers College in Trenton. In 1923, Dr. Gambrill was scouted by Yale University while teaching in Trenton. She became the first female tenured professor at Yale University in science and mathematics. Bessie lived to be 105 years old.
Wow. Bessie Lee Gambrill. Hey, Paulette, tell everybody a little bit more about Bessie Lee Gambrill. Oh, hold on. Stop. Okay. Anything else additional you want to add for Bessie Lee? I know I cut some things out of the video.
Right. She was a remarkable woman. She held an educational seminar in Howard County early on in her career. And it was about subjects that we talk about today, about keeping children's interest in school, and also the law and how do you handle lawless children or, disruptive children. And she covered many topics in this seminar. And in the Ellicott City Times, it said that it was one of the best seminars that had ever been given in Howard County.
Wow. Yeah. Pretty awesome. All right, Paul, by the way, let me go ahead and say this right now. So this looks like all of this may or may not have been easy to come together. It was not. And Paulette did all of the research for what you are seeing today. So Paulette here, she is the she's the hero of this. Oh. So Scotty is trying to jump on, but he's not having luck. So let me see if I can. We're gonna have a special guest.
Right. And while Sean is bringing up Scotty, I'm going to go check the pot pie. You might want to do the same thing if you put yours in the same time I did mine.
All right. Bear with us 1 second, as once again, we are live and figuring out technical difficulties. Our special musical guest should be chiming in any second to send him a fresh link. Okay, Scott. Okay. All right. So while we were figuring that out, let's go ahead and look at our next spotlighted video, shall we? All right. Okay, next up on our tour of Ellicott City Main Street. Let's go ahead and take a look at Tavern. And probably one of the funner videos, I guess you could say, that I had to put together was this one on Deborah Disney. So here is Deborah Disney and the Disney Tavern.
Deborah Disney operated her tavern for 22 years, beginning in 1840. It was known as one of the liveliest places in town, catering to men only. She ran the tavern in Ellicott Mills with the help of her hotel keeper, William S. McLaughlin, and her Irish barkeeper, Henry McGowan. The Ellicott City Landmark was originally constructed in 1790 and is registered on the Maryland Inventory of Historic Places as one of the oldest remaining structures in Ellicott City. She bought the building for $6,000 from William Lorman, which included 10 acres of land. Her most notable achievement was that Deborah Disney generously donated the land behind the tavern on October 6, 1840, for the construction of the Howard County Courthouse that was completed in 1843. It turned out to be a good business decision, for it was a favorite place for those who served on jury duty and a focal point for the town. Jurists would walk out the back door, up a few steps, and across a bridge to the courthouse. Oddly, as noted in court records, no one was ever reported as late for jury duty. Farmers from the western part of the county would stop in for refreshment and the local gossip, as it was the center of activity in town. Disney's Tavern was the heartbeat of Ellicott City. Although Miss Disney sold the tavern on February 5, 1862, to John R. Clark, it has been noted that the tavern continued to operate until at least 1868.
So before we go into the next half of this video, I wanted to mention that Disney's Tavern as an interesting location in Ellicott City. Up until the mid-1800s, was pretty much the center of activity. And after it was no longer a tavern, it was a apartments, places that were basically available for rent. And the other important historical figure from Howard County who lived at Disney's Tavern is Laura Lawrenson Byrne. Now, to some extent, Laura Lawrenson Byrne has been kind of our featured, I guess, Ellicott City woman this year, right?
Right. She was the driving force behind the suffrage movement in Ellicott City.
Right. So here is a little bit about Laura Lawrenson Byrne, who also lived briefly at Disney's Tavern.
Laura Lawrenson Byrne was president of the Howard County chapter of the Just Government League, a leader in the suffrage movement. In 1910, Mrs. Byrne lived at Disney's Tavern on Main Street with her husband Bernard and daughter Miss Laura Byrne and Bernard's sister Eliza. Her husband, Dr. B.J. Byrne, was a prominent doctor in Ellicott City. Mrs. Byrne held many meetings at Disney Tavern, which included speakers like Belva Lockwood, the oldest practicing female attorney in the United States. She would also set up booths on the sidewalk in Ellicott City to hand out buttons, pamphlets, and educational material. She worked closely with Colonel W.S. Powell, editor of the Ellicott City Times. That was the first newspaper in Maryland to support women's suffrage. The support of Colonel Powell and many other gentlemen in the county helped to promote the Just Government League. Laura did not flaunt her life of privilege, but worked diligently for the Just Government League. She traveled the state, giving lectures, organizing committee meetings, and providing educational material and fundraising for the cause.
Okay, that's Laura Lawrenson Byrne. Definitely someone we really did focus on this year. I believe we focused on her for our initiative with the Maryland Heritage Women's Center.
Yes.
And I believe we're working on a marker.
Yes, we are, with the Pomeroy Foundation and the Women's Heritage Center. And also Liz Bobo did a blog post.
That's right. So
Yes.
If you do go back to Christ Church, and you click on the ballot and beyond, that'll lead you to a podcast that our honorary spokeswoman this year, former county executive and first and only Howard County executive.
Well, and in the state of Maryland.
And in the state of Maryland. That's right.
Right.
So Liz did record a podcast on Laura Lawrence and Byrne. You can access that through, once again, the ballot and beyond icon on Christ Church.
Right.
Okay. Great. Okay, next up, let's go back on down to Ellicott City Main Street, and let's take a look at this building right here. Many of you probably remember this being Bean Hollow.
No, the Tea on
Tea
the
on the
Tiber.
Tiber, excuse me.
Yes. Yeah, Tea on the Tiber.
Okay, well, you know what? That's right. This was Tea on the Tiber.
Right.
That's right. Well, I think my video may have a mistake in it.
Uh-oh.
We might have to go back and correct that.
Okay.
All right, here.
Were you drinking that day?
It's quite possible. All right, here is Dorothy Kraft in the Kraft Meat Market. Yeah, oops.
As we continue our Main Street history portion of the program, we are here at beautiful Tiber Park on Main Street. And we happen to be right next door to what was once known as the Kraft Meat Market. More recently, Ellicott Cityans, Howard Countyans may know this building as being Hollow. But historically,
Why didn't you correct
in the
me right there?
1800s, this was the Kraft Meat Market.
This is the site of one of the most successful businesswomen in our profile. Dorothy Kraft was known as, at the time, as being one of the richest women in Howard County. Dorothy Limbach Kraft lived the immigrant's dream. She arrived in Union Mills in 1845 at the age of 6 from Germany. When she died in 1916, she was the richest woman in Howard County. At 8 years old, she was working in the cotton. At 19, she married Andrew H. Kraft, who immigrated to Union Mills in 1851 from Germany and worked for a local butcher and farmer, William Hughes, who moved the business to Main Street in Ellicott City. Mr. Kraft took over from there. Mr. Kraft died on January 1st, 1881, and Dorothy, at the age of 42, with an eye for commerce, immediately took over the business in her name. She employed expert butchers and established 2 daily wagon routes in Howard and Baltimore counties. As her sons grew old enough to join the business, she delegated the delivery routes to them. In a short time, she was successful enough to purchase the building in which her business was established. She bought out her competitor, Gallagher's Meat Business, and employed the last Gallagher as a journeyman butcher. When she died in 1916, she was reported to be the richest woman in Howard County. Her children carried on the business in her name. The Krafts were always known for their compassion and assistance in the community, helping families that were less fortunate or struggling through hard times. The Kraft Meat Market closed its doors in 1942.
All right.
Well, that sure was a lot.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do now is actually, if everybody can just bear with me while I switch over here, I need to bring up our special, it's time for our special musical guest. And if everybody can just bear with me 1 second while I get the invite to him. Scotty, hope you're ready, buddy. All right. I don't exactly know how this is going to work. I just sent Scott an invite, and we'll see if he pops up on the screen in a second. And I think in the meantime, would you like to check on the pot pies?
Yes, I'm going to go out and do that right now. And I
Okay.
was just going to remind everyone else to go in and check. Also get your salad and your squash soup, your butternut squash soup.
All right. So let's see if Scott will be jumping on here. Uh-oh. I just heard a noise. There he is. Hold on. Let me bring you up on. Jumping on here. Skip. Oh. There he is. Hold on. Let me bring you up on.
Ho, 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 ho.
Turn the volume down on your side. Skip. Everybody,
I can't turn it all the way down because I can't hear what you're telling me to do.
Oh, okay.
Ho, 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 ho.
Turn the volume down on your side.
Is that better?
Let me go ahead and introduce everybody. This is my good friend, and anyone who's come to the Museum of Howard County History knows Scott Painter has done plenty of shows there. So Scott is going to go ahead and give us a little holiday cheer. Scott, take it.
Is that better?
Introduce everybody. Little holiday cheer. Scott, take it.
Is that better? Well, Sean, my dear friends at the Howard County Historical Society, God bless you all. I hope everybody out there in Howard County is doing well. Let me turn my volume down just so I don't get any feedback. In the midst of all my holiday shopping and holiday cooking, especially today, I'm in the kitchen a lot today, Sean. But I really appreciate you giving me a call and giving me a thought of having me come on and do a song, because I've been playing one or two Christmas songs. This one's really been top of the list so far this year. You hearing me okay there? Give me a thumbs up over there, Sean, if you're good. All right, beautiful. Well, it's nothing special, y'all. You know, I'm no Bing Crosby. I'm no Nat King Cole, but on behalf of the JawWorks crew, I do humbly wish everyone out there a wonderful holiday season, a beautiful Christmas, a bright and joyous Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Everybody, you know, who's got something that is near and dear to your heart today or this week or this month. And as we prepare for a new year, God bless every one of you. And this one's going out to y'all. Jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, the fields we go, laughing all the way. There's John Baptist ring, making spirits rise. Fun it is to laugh and sing with a sleighing song tonight. Oh, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Riding through Ellicott City when I run into Sean Gladden. He tells me I should log on. We're going through the town. Then we see our friends, yeah, rocking all day. What fun it is to sing this day away. Oh, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Woo! Oh, God bless all Howard County. Love you guys.
Thank you, Scotty.
Thank you, Scotty.
The man.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you got one more?
Sure. Oh, God bless all Howard County. Oh, you're welcome. God bless you guys. It's so nice to see you all.
Here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's do something.
One more, Scotty.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Forgive the sneezes, y'all. Woo!
By the way, everybody, Paulette is eating her pot pie right now. It's absolutely delicious.
It is delicious.
All right, let's do it. It's going out to all my people that feeling cut off out there. Feeling a little disconnected during the COVID quarantine and the lockdowns, the various lockdowns. They lift them, they put them back in. Just be glad you're healthy and whole. You know, there's a lot of people that have been lost this year. And I think we all need to always continue to humble ourselves and keep it in the forefront of our mind that where there's life, there is hope. And Americans are supposed to be resilient people. So let's be resilient and let's get through this, okay? God bless the Howard County Historical Society for all the work you do throughout the year. Just a castaway, island lost at sea. Oh, another lonely day, no one here but me. Oh, more loneliness than any Zoom call could take. Rescue me, Mr. Gladden. Make me feel so good. Christmas is right around the corner. The holiday season is here. Hope someone gets mine. Hope that someone gets mine. Hope that someone gets my message in the bottle. Message in a bottle, yeah. I wonder if Santa Claus is gonna come this year. I've only been out to shop for groceries. Will he know I'm still here? I want to hold my head up, but it's not easy, no. Ellicott City, down Main Street to shopping, yeah. That is where I want to go. Send a SOS to the world. Send a SOS to the world. Hope that someone hears my. Hope that someone can hear mine. Hope that someone hears my message in a bottle. A bottle of Bailey's, maybe, you know? Message in a bottle. My Puerto Rican friends lay that coquito on me. Message in a bottle. Whatever the holidays might see you sipping on this year. Message in a bottle. Yeah, some mulled wine like Sean likes. You know, I know Sean's a very fancy guy. He enjoys the mulled wines. Woke up Christmas morning. Don't believe what I saw. 100 million presents under my tree, down on the floor. One was called gratitude. Yeah. One was called giving thanks. Big up the Howard County Historical Society. I love the way they jam. So send an SOS to the world. Holiday SOS to the world. Hope that someone gets mine. Hope that someone gets mine. Hope that someone gets my message in the bottle. Message in the bottle. Yeah. Happy holiday. Merry Christmas. God bless everybody.
Thanks, Scotty. Merry Christmas, buddy.
Thank
Love you.
Hey,
All right, man.
love you.
All right. Okay. Well, that was a little musical interlude, I guess.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and get back to the tour. Our last Paulette wants to
Well,
talk
I
about
was
the
just
pot
going to
pie.
say, no, I was just going to say, I've been eating the pot pie. It is delicious.
It smells wonderful.
And I know, it smells wonderful. And I've also been eating the butternut squash soup, and they are both phenomenal. So thank you so much to Pure Wine, because this is a fantastic meal.
Excellent. Okay. Now let's head back to the tour. Okay, so we've checked out Alda, Tyson, Hopkins, Clark. We've looked at Bessie Lee Gambrill. We've looked at Deborah Disney and Disney's Tavern, Dorothy Kraft. We've looked at Rebecca Garrett. Now let's take a look at a trio of sisters who did not live in Ellicott City. However, they did produce a piece of artwork that is in our collection that is significant, being that it is one of the first panoramic views of Ellicott City, and it was colorized and gives us a great view of what Howard County has looked like over the years. So let's take a quick look at the Jones sisters.
This unique trio of formidable talent traveled the state for decades, producing hand-colored photographs of buildings, landscapes, still lifes, postcards, and note cards, as well as handmade table linens and other needle crafts. The noted Baltimore photographer A. Aubrey Bodine once remarked of their work, "I could reach up and pull the flowers right out of the picture." Ahead of her time, Elsie Jones bought a Voigtlander camera in the 1930s for an exorbitant $132 and took photos throughout Howard County. Ida Jones, who graduated from the Maryland Institute of Art in 1916, where she won the class prize in the design department, did the printing and hand coloring of photographs. Frances Jones wrote the histories of the photos and planned the journeys throughout Maryland. With a darkroom set up in their father's barn in Howard County, they produced beautiful photos and artwork that allowed them to publish a book, Maryland History Through the Camera's Eye, in 1944. Available in our gift shop is Images of America Sykesville by Bill Hall and Acadia Publishing that contains a chapter on the Jones sisters with photos. The Gatehouse Museum in Sykesville at 7282 Cooper Drive, Sykesville, holds an important collection of the Jones sisters' work.
All right. Paulette, anything to add about the Jones sisters?
Well, they were really marvelous artists. They lived in Howard County. Their family, it was one of the original families in the state of Maryland. Jones Falls is named for their family. Mm-hmm. And then they moved to Howard County in 1860, and they set up the little photography shop in their father's barn where they did all their work.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, our last profiled woman for Ellicott City is actually going to be off of Hill Street. Now, many locals know where Hill Street is, not because of Hill Street, but because of what is at the corner of Hill Street. Local, let's get there. Come on. There we go. At the corner of Hill Street is where all of the Ellicott City locals like to enjoy a beverage. Where am I? Okay. All right. Where everyone likes to enjoy a beverage at the judge's bench. So let's go ahead to Hill Street.
Yes.
And learn about Mary Melvin.
Correct.
There's Judge's Bench.
Mm-hmm. Mary Melvin lived on Hill Street, and she worked very hard with Laura St. Byrne to promote the suffrage movement in Howard County. And she did this despite the fact that she was blind.
Amazing. So let's learn a little bit more about Mary Melvin.
Mary Melvin has the distinct accomplishment of being a superior suffragist, but also did it as a blind person. The Melvin family lived on Hill Street in 1910. Mary's father was an editor, and her mother, Jenny Melvin, took care of their 2 girls and 2 boys. As a child, Mary contracted an illness that left her blind. Mary's parents divorced, and since Mary required full-time care, her mother and 2 daughters moved to Baltimore, where Mary was enrolled in the School for the Blind. Mary was an honor student and a suffragist at the Women's College of Baltimore, now Goucher College. She impressed classmates with her zeal and academic achievement. Mary, her mother, and her sister Ann Delia collected signatures at the 1911 Maryland State Fair. All 3 worked for the Equal Suffrage League and the Just Government League. Mary marched in the 1913 Witch Procession in Washington, D.C.
Okay, well, we just finished up on Hill Street, and Hill Street just happens to be located right next to the world-famous Judge's Bench. So, Paulette, what do you think?
I think you and I will go in and have a drink while you go get your next glass of wine.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. All right. So we all have to, one of the things I've learned about working with her is we got to do what she says. So if she says it's time for another glass of wine, I guess it's time for another glass of wine. So what I'd like to go ahead and do now that we finished up our Ellicott City portion of the tour is we're going to turn on over to PJ again, who's going to tell us about the second bottle of wine in our wine sampling, the Tortoise Creek. So I'm going to go ahead and switch on over. All right. PJ, take it away.
Back, everyone. Thanks for joining us again. We hope you enjoyed the last installation of the Holiday House Tour. We're here with another wine for you. We've got the Tortoise Creek
Fantastic.
Zinfandel.
Nice little heavier wine. Hopefully warm you up a little on your house tour.
Definitely, this wine is also a great wine for the holidays.
Fantastic.
It's Lodi, California.
100% Zinfandel.
Comes from the master portfolio. Just really, really nice, generous fruit on this wine. Can go really well with pretty much anything around the holidays. Again, it could be great with not just food, but with chocolate,
Exactly.
things like that. But it definitely can be a food wine as well. This would pair nicely with the food that you had this evening, and little sweet treats afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm all about sweet treats.
No,
around
I
this
know,
time of
that's
year.
like your
I
thing.
know.
We keep
I
talking
get back
about
to the normal diet in January, but this time of year, it's all about sweet treats.
Hey,
So I like wines that go with sweet treats. This definitely does, but also goes nicely with food.
so you're saying there's no rules right now.
No rules.
No rules.
No rules.
Perfect. I
The
love
only
it.
rule is drink what you like and drink things, or at least I like to drink things this time of year that kind of give back a little bit. This wine, the last wine we tasted, gives back to the community in a big way. This wine actually, it's called Tortoise Creek, and some of the sales of this wine go back to a turtle initiative.
The Shalonian
The
Foundation.
Shalonian Foundation.
So
That's
they,
right.
they've been doing it ever since this brand started. They give back to help save the turtles, or the Shalonians, throughout the world, which is great. And the wine's fantastic. So we're also giving back and drinking a beautiful bottle of wine. And the family that creates this, there's actually two families that partner together, the Master family and the Sager family. And they have relationships going back, way back. Mel was one of the first people to start. I won't name the winery, but it was a very large winery and very popular to this day. But he has connections from working there and throughout where he sources his fruit. All of it has to be of a certain quality, and they shoot for sustainable at least. So it may not be fully organic, but for the most part, they're not using pesticides, herbicides in any of their plantings.
And again, it's a family-run operation. It's a little bit different. They don't produce their own wine. They contract it, so they're not sort of bound to one vineyard site. But that means they can they have the kind of the best of around the world. So this portfolio has a bunch of domestic wines, New World wines, but they also have some French wines as well as some Italian wines.
Yeah.
And they really Mel Master has spent his entire career sourcing the best fruit he can possibly get. He's definitely a winemaker. He just doesn't do it.
Yeah. And they're
in a
very
single
hands-on,
vineyard.
though. They're
100%
hands-on. They're
hands-on.
in the
Yeah.
vineyards. They're checking out the fruit.
Mhm.
I mean, Mel was a restaurateur. He had one of the top restaurants in New York City back in the 80s. And so he knows what the quality needs to be.
And they're fantastic people.
And, oh, yeah. I mean,
They
they're
become
lovely.
friends of ours at Pure Wine Cafe in Ellicott City. Mel and Charlie, his son, have both been to Ellicott City
Janie has
several
too,
times.
his wife.
Yeah. I had never met her though.
Yeah, you weren't there when she was.
Yeah.
She was drunk.
But they've all been to Ellicott City. They care very much about this local community.
Mhm.
We were trying to pick out wines that give back, but also have a connection to us, to Ellicott City. So many cool things going on in Ellicott City right now. Come down and shop this next week. Last minute holiday gifts
Plenty of stuff.
all over the street. We mentioned Sweet Cascades. No brainer to get some chocolates from her.
You've got
this
gift
year.
boxes, right?
Gift
Gift boxes, the legacy
we
pack.
sold out of the gift boxes.
You did?
They
Well,
were
you have
that
the legacy
popular.
pack,
We
right?
appreciate people coming out for the gift boxes. We do have legacy box. We've got a bake sale coming up that's published on our website right now. You can order baked goods and pick them up next Wednesday. You can check it out at purewinecafe.com. But definitely shop small in Ellicott City this holiday season. There's so much great stuff going on. I am just astounded about how many small businesses have been able to adapt and change and really bring something new and exciting to the table. And I think this is the time, this is the holiday season more than any to shop small, shop local, shop Ellicott City. You're enjoying this holiday house tour right now, seeing some old historic places in Ellicott City, but check out some of the new things that the shops have to offer as well. Again, we have some things going on, purewinecafe.com, but it's not just us. We're one of many small businesses that have really had to adapt and change this holiday season. But we are here and we are excited to be part of Ellicott City, and we're not going anywhere. And there's a lot of shops that can say the same thing, and we appreciate the support. And I know that I will be enjoying some Tortoise Creek Zinfandel this holiday season. We hope you enjoyed it as well. Thanks, Brandon, for joining us.
Thank you.
Cheers. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Sweet.
Yeah.
See you soon.
PJ, my man. Very, very nice. Thank you very much. Paulette, I think you were in getting a new glass.
Yeah.
But you know what they said about Tortoise Creek?
What?
Proceeds of this go to save the turtles.
Oh, wonderful. I think that's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Even more of a reason to drink Tortoise Creek. But
yes.
The other message that PJ was saying is shop local, shop in Ellicott City. We just gave you a virtual tour of Ellicott City, highlighting the historic places that are associated with some women that we've profiled this year historically. Now let's take a look at our other two sites. We're very excited about our other sites. So let's go ahead and take a quick peek. I know we said we were going to go to 3:30 today. We'll probably go a little bit over. What I'd like to do is just kind of highlight the other. Make sure this is looking all right. We want to highlight that there. Spotlight. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we want to get out of the Ellicott City portion. We want to click on other places. And it's going to take us back to our menu where we have Mount Pleasant and PFI. Let's go on over to Mount Pleasant on the western part of the county.
Christchurch.
Nope, not Christchurch. Let's go ahead and reload the tour site. If you do get into any, if you go down a digital rabbit hole, just refresh the page. And the page will pop up at the main title screen. And let's head on over to Mount Pleasant. Now, once again, Mount Pleasant, we did get some aerial photography. So not only can you get a good look at the house itself, if you'd like, you can actually peruse all the surrounding area. Paulette, my understanding is this is one of the earliest land grants in Howard County. Thomas Brown?
Yes, Thomas Brown the Ranger.
Thomas Brown the Ranger.
What?
So definitely this land property and this land grant goes back to the 1600s. This house, however, Mount Pleasant, which was on our holiday house tour a few years ago, we have a full interactive tour. Thank you. Thank you, Paula. Full interactive tour of Mount Pleasant. You can enter into the front door. As you pull up to the front door, if you want to look at the plaque, you can pull the history plaque up. Mount Pleasant, 1692 to 1992, when this plaque was put on the home.
But another reason we wanted to do Mount Pleasant is that Mount Pleasant goes back to the earliest beginnings of Howard County. This area was a total wilderness, and Thomas Brown, the ranger, was sent here to explore the land and to negotiate with the Susquehanna Indians. And it also, the property of Mount Pleasant also bordered on the property of Delregan Manor, which belonged to Charles Carroll Carrollton.
As you can see, we have some audio cues that are built into the interactive platform. So if you click on an audio cue.
The parlor has some unique features. The first one that I want to share with you is the mantle. Now the mantle at that time in the 1800s, because this section of the farmhouse was built in 1865, was made of slate. And it was also painted to resemble marble. So that's why you see the designs that are on the fireplace. Another unique feature of this room is the picture rail. Because the walls are made of plaster, people did not want to put holes in the plaster. So they put a picture rail up, and then they were able to hang their pictures from the picture rail. Another special piece in this room is this buffet or sideboard. This buffet actually did belong to the Brown family. After the last Brown's sister passed away, the buffet was acquired by someone locally. And the unique features of this is that the buffet was actually built by a craftsman in Ellicott City. And we are lucky today that the Howard County Historical Society has allowed us to use this buffet. It's on loan from them so that we can adorn the farmhouse with something that is special to the Brown family.
Okay, so once again, the entire tour is interactive. It's designed for you to enjoy it on your own. You can go through various parts of the home. There are lots of audio cues for you to see on your own. As you can see, it's fully, you can adjust and go through the home. You have an audio cue there for the stairs. You can head on upstairs to the second floor. Fully interactive. Now, if you would like,
listen to info about the foyer.
Oh, thank you. So, and I would like to thank the Howard County Conservancy.
Howard County Conservancy.
Yes. And Meg Boyd and her entire team over there at the Howard County Conservancy for partnering with us on this. They did produce a little video that we would like to share with you right now.
Farmhouse video.
There's the
farmhouse video.
Right. There is the clip, the icon for the farmhouse video. And here is
Farmhouse Magazine.
Their farmhouse magazine. So let's go ahead and watch the tour clip for Mount Pleasant.
Good morning, everyone. So happy to have you come and join me this morning as we take a short tour in the 1865 section of the farmhouse. The last residents in the farmhouse were Ruth and Francis Brown, and you can come to the Conservancy and check out our little sign. Talks a little bit about them. They were very, very, very generous to us. But the other thing that you need to know about the farmhouse is that it was built in many sections. We're looking at the 1865 part. Behind it, in the center of the house, is the log cabin. The log cabin, we think, was created in the 1700s, about 1775. And the land belonged at that time to Ranger Brown. Now, Ranger Brown was a Patuxent ranger, and his job was to keep track of the northern area of the land between the Patuxent and the Patapsco rivers. So if you are interested at all in the log cabin section, then you could take a walk on the left side of the farmhouse, and you'll be able to see some of the logs through the viewing window. Please walk to the center area, look behind the boxwood bushes, and you will see the window there. You're welcome to go as close as you like to the viewing window. Now, behind the log cabin is another addition, and that addition, we believe, the most modern part, was created in the 1950s. But if you would like to see inside, join me now. We're going into the foyer. The foyer in the farmhouse in this 1865 edition has pine floors, and they are the original, and a staircase. Now, one unique feature here is there is a bathroom tucked underneath the staircase. The Brown family did not have indoor plumbing until the 1950s. So there is an outhouse behind the farmhouse if you want to investigate that. Our parlor has some unique items in it also. You'll notice the buffet that we have here. This actually belonged to the Brown family. It was built in Ellicott City by a cabinet maker by the name of Bernard Fort, and it is on loan from the Howard County Historical Society at this time. We're so happy to have it back in the house. Originally, we saw that it was located in the log cabin because the log cabin section was a dining room at one point, and currently it is the living room for the caretaker and his family. We also have a beautiful mantle and fireplace around here. Now, this looks like marble, but You will notice, as you look closer, that this is actually slate that has been painted. It was a technique that was used in the 1800s to mimic marble, and it has stayed very nicely, and you are welcome to come and look at it when we have an open house in the farmhouse. Also, on the wall, you will notice that there is a wood strip that goes around. That's called a picture rail. Because the walls are plaster, families never put holes into the wall. They created the picture rail and they hung their photos or their pictures from that rail. A very good way to keep your house looking neat and orderly. This edition is 2 stories. And this part is currently used as a little mini kitchen. It was not the kitchen for the Brown family. It was used as a utility and a laundry room. And keep in mind, their water had to be carried from the well pump into this room to be able to do the laundry. So we have a wringer and a washboard set up just to give you the effect of how life would have been. The kitchenette. Let's take a walk up the stairs.
Okay, we wanted to just give you a little sampling, I guess you could say. We're running up late on our time, so we said we wanted to finish up by 3:30. So certainly, once again, this entire site has been designed to be fully interactive, something that you can experience on your own. What we're doing today is more like a walkthrough. So certainly, if you want to watch all of these videos, there's lots and lots of content. There's images, there's audio, there's lots and lots to look at each one of these sites. But what we would like to do, since we're running out of time on our stream today, is we want to finish up with something that we think is probably the coolest part of this format. And this is the Patapsco Female Institute. Now, many of us, especially in Ellicott City, we know about the location of the Patapsco Female Institute. Many of us have been up to the Patapsco Female Institute. Maybe you've been fortunate enough to maybe catch one of the Shakespeare performances up at the site. But what we've been able to do, and we think this is probably one of the first times this has been done, is we were able to do a 360-degree photography, of the entire site. And it is completely interactive for you to take a look at. And it is just an amazing look at many of the features of Patapsco Female Institute, including the place where it was stabilized back in the 1990s, I believe. Mm-hmm. You can come around to the side and see some of these amazing features. Okay. And we have lots of audio clips.
The Ellicotts provided land in 1837 for the Patapsco Female Institute, providing a venue for the higher education of women. A beautiful thing, the school was open to girls aged 12 to 18 from all over the United States, Europe, and South America. The school did not flourish until Elmira Hart Lincoln Phelps was hired in 1840. As principal and headmistress of the school, the enrollment increased to over 400 students. Mrs. Phelps was an exceptional administrator and educator. Unimpressed with the books at the school when she first arrived, she wrote and published books on botany, chemistry, physics, and geology. She amassed a fortune from the sale of the textbooks, part of which she donated to PFI. Mrs. Phelps' expectations were that the women of PFI would receive a full education with the goal of becoming teachers and businesswomen, prepared to earn a living. PFI was not just a finishing school, but an institution of higher learning. Mrs. Phelps often told her students, "Far from considering that you know everything, you must think that you have almost everything to learn. Almira retired as headmistress in 1858 after her daughter, Jane Lincoln, was killed in a train accident. Her years at PFI established a national reputation for a school of excellence. She lectured in retirement for social causes and continued to be an advocate for formal education for women. Mrs. Phelps was succeeded by Sarah Nicholas Randolph, the great-great-granddaughter of President Thomas Jefferson. Lily Tyson was a descendant of two prominent Quaker milling and merchant families, the Tysons of Jericho Mills, north of Baltimore, and the Ellicott founders of Ellicott City.
Okay. All right. So that is the walkthrough. That is how you interact with the interactive platform. There's videos. There's thank you, Joe. Thank you, Mike Quinlan. There's videos. There's audio. There's 360-degree photography. You know, as we were thinking earlier this year, how we could bring the Holiday House Tour in a safe manner. You know, I will say we were approached by Howard Hartman from Capital Sky Eye, who has gone on our tour numerous times on our bus tour. And he brought this to us probably about, I'd say, halfway through the year. He said, "Hey, I've got a great idea." And as soon as I heard it, I didn't exactly know what this was going to look like
Right.
or exactly how this was all going to come together. But this is what we've got for you. So hopefully you are enjoying it. Hopefully you will enjoy it. It will live on our website. It will live on our website into the new year. We actually think this will be a great educational platform. Maybe the school system can use it. Maybe we can use this in other facets. And we certainly will, as we go into 2021, try and figure out more ways to do virtual programming, virtual lectures, things like this more often. So I guess anything else, Paulette?
Well, what I'd like to say, I think Sean has done a fantastic job of putting this together. He's worked 24/7, honestly. He has just put his heart and soul into this project. He's done a beautiful job. I've told him that he is going to be known as the Ken Burns of Howard County. And, you know, if you really enjoyed this program and you loved it, please think about donating to the Howard County Historical Society. It is, like he said before, it is our major fundraiser of the year. And so if you really enjoyed this and appreciated all of Sean's hard work, please donate.
And Paulette's hard work. She doesn't take enough credit, this one. Thank you, everyone. It was a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed it. This YouTube video will live on our YouTube channel, so you guys can do, yeah, Bob, we're going to do virtual lunch lectures. That's going to happen. Matter of fact, I think I'm doing the first one in January.
Yeah.
So thanks, Janet. Thanks. All the comments are coming in. We appreciate it. Yeah, today's the last day the museum is open. Standing ovation. Thanks, Ann and Tom. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It was funny because as we were trying to tell the board what this was all about, you could just see the blank looks on the board, like, you're doing what? Like, don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
Right.
So, all right. Well, thanks, everybody. We're going to thank you, Ellen. Hopefully everybody had a good time. We're going to go ahead and sign off now. So Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, happy holidays, whatever you happen to celebrate. This was fun,
thank you for participating today.
Yeah.
Sean and I enjoyed doing this. We really had a lot of fun. It was hard work, but it was fun. We enjoyed it.
Thanks, everybody.
So
take care.
Thank you.
And if you can, go ahead and donate. hchs.org/donate. We appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
All right, how do I stop this thing?